From a place we're not allowed to reveal, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
Who the f*** is with this guy? Who is he?
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning in to the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No. I am your host. Write down our telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. Every once in a while on the Tom Leykis Show, we like to make the connection. We like to tell you how sausage is made, how your sausage is made. And there is a direct correlation between having money and getting laid. You may think you don't need money or you don't want money. You may think that it's not likely you'll ever get money, but let me tell you something. Getting the hottest chicks means you've got to at least have the promise of earning some cash. Now, it doesn't mean you'll ever actually get the money or make the money. Maybe you don't have any talent or skill. Maybe you're not that smart. Maybe you're not that ambitious. But none of that matters. You need to appear to have potential. Something I talk about all the time. Now, if you have anything going for you, actually having money is very helpful. It's important to know about money. And I know because when I was 19 and 25 and every age in between, I didn't necessarily see the importance of money. I had a girlfriend. She loved me. She made lunch for me. She did my laundry. What did I need to make $1 million for? I never realized, looking back in retrospect, that I could have had a lot hotter chick if I had the money I have today. You may or may not know it, but, and it's really not important except just to say as a way of expressing my credentials to you, I am a self-made multimillionaire. $1 million doesn't buy what it used to, and maybe John McCain is right about the middle class being people who make $500,000 a year. Making money is important. And even if you can't see the importance of it, trust me, it's important. And you'll see the importance of it the more you have. The more you earn, the more you save, the more you invest. Now, I grew up with nothing. I grew up probably having less than you. I grew up in one of the poorest neighborhoods in America and one of the most dangerous. I mean the South Bronx. By the way, I'll be going back to the South Bronx in a couple of weeks because they're shutting down Yankee Stadium. And so even though I don't live in New York and I've had nothing to do with it for a very long time, this is a big deal. And I grew up right there and used to see it all the time. And so I'm going back. But I'll tell you what, I should be going back with a Kevlar vest is what I should be doing. What a dangerous place. I came from nothing. But at 12 years old, I said, you know what, I'm better than all this, and I decided I was going to make money. I fell off the wagon a few times, nearly went broke a few times, nearly went bankrupt 3 times. But I kept getting back up on the horse, and I kept going. And one thing I figured out is this system, the system that seems impossible to figure out. The system that makes you say, well, those are things rich people do. You know, playing tennis, flying first class, hanging out with important people. That's something that rich people do, but people like us, we don't do that. That's how my parents used to program us. That's the way they used to talk. At 7 years old, I wanted to learn how to play the piano. My mother said to me, we don't have a piano. I said, I found a teacher. I was 7. I found a teacher who will have me to her apartment and show me how to play the piano. And my mother said, well, that's something that rich people do, playing instruments. That's also why we didn't play tennis or golf. It's also why we didn't go certain places, eat at certain restaurants. It's why we didn't know anybody important. At about age 14, I had an aunt who was a mentor to me. She took me on a tour of the New York Stock Exchange. She showed me how to make contacts in my chosen field, in my case, radio. She told me to get the addresses of 3 radio personalities that I admired, write to them, and tell them that my plan was to work in the radio business and to find out what advice they would have for me. And I did it, and 2 of the 3 wrote back to me. Handwritten notes. Wow. It blew me away. And my aunt never accepted the idea that we were poor people and that there were rich people who, you know, rich people do this and we poor people do that. She didn't accept that. And she taught me not to accept it, and I didn't. I decided that I was better than all that. I decided I was going to make more money, and I figured out how to do it. And now on this program, every once in a while, I try to teach you guys the connection between making money and being successful in other aspects of your life, most notably picking up chicks. There's nothing chicks like being around more than money. Money today, money tomorrow, the hope of money, the promise of money, the smell, the sniff of money. You know, if you're pre-med or thinking about going to law school or you have some kind of potential, women pick up on that. And they are much more likely to have sex with you than if you say, you know what, I work at the auto parts store and I'm real happy there. I'm real happy there. It's a mentality. And I will advise anybody, man or woman, I will advise anybody, children, on what to do with money, how to get it, how to save it, where to put it. In money news in the past week, the unemployment rate went over 6%, 6.1%. First time it's been that high in 8 years. You know it. You know it's that bad. You've seen what it's like out there. But you know, when times are bad, let me talk like a rich person for a second. There are advantages to bad times. I'm not kidding. I'm not being facetious. Do you know what they are? Good time to buy any big-ticket item. Houses, finally. Good time to buy a house if you can get a mortgage. Cars, they're wheeling and dealing. Did you see General Motors extended their employee discount program? It was going to go through Labor Day. Now it's another week. They've got metal to move. They want you to come in. This is a good time to be making purchases because everybody is bargaining. Everybody is dealing. There are sales at stores. There are $5 footlongs at Subway. Everybody is conceding that times are bad and lowering prices on just about everything. Good time to be buying things. Good time to be negotiating things. If you have a job and you have cash coming in, a good time to start your savings. Good time to open your IRA, your 401k, your 403b. It's a good time to have money. It's a good time to start your investment plan. Even if it's $50 a month, it's a good time to start. You keep reading about how the stock market was down today. It rallied. Today the stock market did well, but you've been reading how the stock market has been generally down. That means stocks are on sale. It's a good time to be getting started. Don't let all the bad news chase you away. My slogan as someone who is a multimillionaire, if you're selling, I'm buying. So as I see people heading out the exit of the stockbroker, as I see people dumping their mutual funds, dumping their stocks, my response is, hey, I'll take that. I'll take whatever you got. When times are bad, those are opportunities. When times are good, there's less opportunity. That doesn't sound like it makes sense, right? It's counterintuitive, but think about this. When times were good in the real estate business, look how hard it was to buy a house. Look how expensive it was. You would put an offer in on a house, you'd be competing with 5 other offers. The prices were going up fanatically. I mean, finally, people couldn't afford houses. The time you can afford a house is when times are bad. And times are bad. So if you did what I did, if you saved your cash when times were good, then when times are bad, you got that money put away. I put a 25% down payment on my dream house, a dream property, an absolute dream. Now, I could have owned it 5 years earlier, and I would have loved to own it 5 years earlier. I probably would have paid 2 or 3 times as much for it. I did without it for 5 years. I continued putting cash away. And when nobody could afford to buy this place, when there were no buyers, I walked in with cash. Not 100% of the cash. I financed 75% of it, but 25% down. No one was walking around with that kind of cash. I had that cash because when everybody was bragging about buying their little condo for $1 million and $2 million, I was saying the hell with that, and I was putting my money away. Because I knew that one day there would be blood in the streets. My day came this year. As the foreclosures began to mount, I was ready to take advantage. The time to buy stuff is not when times are good. The time to buy stuff is when times are bad. Houses, cars, stocks, mutual funds. If you have been saving money, this is a good time to deploy some of it. And you should always be saving and investing money. Understand, I am not a certified financial planner. I'm not a stockbroker. I am not an accountant. I am not a professional in any way. I'm a guy who pulled myself up by my bootstraps, growing up poor and becoming rich as an adult. I figured out the system, and you can too. And by the way, unlike most people who do shows like this, I'm not selling a book. I don't have a seminar. I'm not selling a product here. I'm just sharing what I know with you. So if you would like to get more information and you would like to get some advice on how to become more financially successful, how to save, how to invest, how to plan, what to do, now's the time to call me.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-866. Tom.
I just think, women, honestly, they like to beat around the bush a little more. Guys are more straightforward.
Nothing I like more than that.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Let's talk money. Patrick on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Great.
Well, I had a question for you. All right.
Yeah.
I'm 21 years old. Okay. I got a pretty good job. I make about $30 an hour right now. I've never bought a house before, so there's an FHA loan. It's 3% down on the house. My question is, I talked to the bank today even, and they said I could qualify for a $270,000 loan. And I was thinking about looking for foreclosures and trying to get something cheap that needed work done, obviously. What do you think about that?
Well, first of all, I don't believe in putting 3% down.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in putting more down.
Okay.
Because I believe in keeping the payments as low as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in having equity in that home.
Mm-hmm.
You don't ever want to become upside down on a house.
Agreed.
And if you put 3% down, that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
You could owe more on the house than it's worth.
Yeah, especially if the market continues going down and I buy now.
Right. Also, are you aware of how much it costs? Everyone says yes, but then I'm going to throw some numbers at you. Are you aware of how much it costs to own and operate a house, a piece of real estate that you own and control?
Well, so. I know I was talking to the bank today, and all the taxes and insurances were included in the quote they gave me for what it would cost me monthly for that loan. And then obviously you have your utilities, water, electric, heat, gas.
How about when a pipe bursts?
Yeah. See, you're right. There's a lot that is involved.
You know, when the toilet overflows, the super is not coming up to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
The building manager is you.
Yeah.
Or the person you hire.
Mm-hmm. Either way, it's costing me.
Right. Have you called a plumber lately? You know what that costs?
No.
Yeah. $80, $100 for a basic visit.
So you don't think it is a good choice right now?
Well, I think the best choice is to first make sure that you've got no debt.
Mm-hmm. See, the only debt I have is my truck, and I've been paying that down. I brought it from about 16 I owed on it to about down to 9.
That's good.
Yeah, so I've been working real hard on getting that paid down.
So you got no credit card debts?
No.
And do you live in an apartment? Where do you live?
Right now I live with my folks.
Right, so here, you've got no furniture.
No.
You have no dishes, pots, pans, silverware.
So it's going to be more than just the cost of the house is what you're saying.
You have to think about these things.
Yeah.
And when you buy a house, will you have it inspected for things like mold and earthquake dangers and things like that?
I think I'll have to as part of the FHA loan. It has a standard for the house that you purchase through the FHA loan.
How much is that?
I don't know. I don't.
I'm not doing this to embarrass you. What I'm doing here is to show you there's a lot of X factors that you haven't thought about, that you need to think about. Does this house have any landscaping or a front lawn or anything?
Well, actually, the area, I don't know if you're familiar with it, the area that I'm looking at and want to live in is Norco.
Right.
It's generally, most of the lots are about half acre at the smallest. It's all pretty much horse property. So the landscaping is kind of, if you want to landscape it, you can. If not, it's not really going to look that much different than any other house.
Right. You can have brush clearance every May.
Yes.
How much is that?
How much is my time to clean it all up and burn it?
Well, okay. The point is there's a lot of things you have to think about. A lot of costs. And here's another question for you. Do you live in Corona where you're calling from, or where do you live now?
I live in Corona.
Okay, so Norco is pretty much same distance to work and things like that.
Yes, it is. It's Norco, Corona. It's right next to each other.
Yeah, of course. Norco is North Corona.
Corona, yeah, exactly.
But, okay. Anyway, these are the things you have to think about. What if you found out you couldn't afford it and you needed to unload that house? You think you could unload that house pretty easily?
In this market, probably not.
So that's a thing you also need to think about. What happens if you move in and the cost is more than you were expecting? And you just can't hack it, which could happen. You're 21 years old. It could happen.
Yeah.
Then the question becomes, how easy would it be to unload that house?
So what do you think if, because I was thinking on this as well, if I were to get the house and rent it out, obviously I'd have to be able to afford the house payments on it until I found a renter. But what would you think on that? Because then I would.
Well, yeah, and you also have to check. You also have to check with the FHA, and I'm not an expert in this area at all. But I do know there are some mortgages where you have to reside in the house. You can't rent it out.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the reason you get such, because the idea is to keep those flippers from coming back into the market. You know what I'm saying? They want you to be the. I had a lot of time problem with my own house that I purchased. I purchased a second home. No intention of renting it out. No intention of selling it. But the bank was very concerned about me not being in a primary residence, that this was a secondary residence or a vacation residence. They didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't even renting my place out. I'm just living in it part-time.
Yeah.
So that's another question you have to ask. I'm not telling you absolutely don't do it. I'm telling you think about the answers to all these questions.
Yeah.
Make sure you've got the answers.
Okay.
Sit down and write out your budget.
Okay.
Final question, Patrick. What do you do for a living?
I'm a chassis mechanic down at the harbor. Going to school for diesel and refrigeration. To stay at the same place, but just change departments. So it's a lot of gas money too to drive down to Long Beach every day.
Sure it is.
And I was
did you ever consider the possibility of buying a house closer to Long Beach?
I'm a country boy. I don't like it down there.
Well, I understand that, but or getting a job closer to Norco.
I wouldn't be able to find something that's the same. I mean, maybe compensating for the gas prices I would, but I have excellent benefits, excellent pay. My pay, I'm an apprentice right now, which means like my pay is going up every 6 months until I reach a journeyman status. So it's just, I don't know, you know what I mean?
I understand all that. That's why I'm suggesting that maybe for a first house you would want to live closer to Long Beach. Maybe not in Long Beach.
Yeah.
But closer to it.
Just so, yeah. I mean, your first home shouldn't be your dream home.
How much do you spend in gasoline now?
I try to carpool a little bit, but when I don't, it's normally about $100 a week, $115 a week.
At your income level, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. See, I have one more question for you too. I'm single. I eat it in taxes. You know what I mean? For my age, especially, like I make a good amount of money, and I eat it in taxes. How could I avoid that without purchasing a home?
How much are you paying in taxes? What percentage of your income?
It's been a while since I figured it out. I mean, I can make $1,100 and walk out of there with $750.
All right, so you're paying about a third of your income in taxes, which is, by the way, for your income level, about normal.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember, what you save in taxes on buying a house will probably be exceeded by the cost of owning the house.
Yeah, I'll have the benefit of the house, though.
You will have the benefit of the house, but you will also have the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And that cost, you know, if you're making $1,100 a week, and I'm guessing that's what you make, right? $1,100 a week?
Around there. It fluctuates with my overtime. But
yeah,
right
so
around there.
You're somewhere between $55,000 and $60,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the cost of owning that house could be substantial.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something to be considered. I'm not saying don't do it. I do recommend, though, that you, in any way possible, avoid PMI. You know what that is? Mortgage insurance.
Yeah, see, that's what they told me, too, that I would have to have mortgage insurance.
Which you'll have to pay for.
Yes, they said it's between about $60 a month.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay.
$720 a year.
How do you avoid that? By putting more down on the house?
Of course.
Yeah.
And that means you have to wait a while to own the house.
Yes, it does.
But it wouldn't hurt you to wait a little longer, because I think the housing market's going to drop even a little more before it starts going up again.
Yeah, I've heard that the next round of foreclosures is coming due.
Better to have some more money in the bank and keep your powder dry and be ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't rush. Do it right. Think about it. Take your time. And don't get all your advice from the people who are trying to sell you something, whether it be the people who want to sign you up for a mortgage, or whether it be, you know, from people trying to sell you a house, a realtor, anybody like that. Do it on your own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
When you've had the time to do the homework.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks. I appreciate it, Tom.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call. There we go. Good luck to him. 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Jay on the Tom Leykis Show. We're talking money here. Hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Jay.
Long time, first time.
Thank you.
I got a question for you. Okay. I'm 20 years old. I go to school full time. And for my previous job, I happened to save up close to $100,000 until I bought a car. But my question is it the right thing to do to be going to school right now and start pursuing a career?
What do you intend to do for a career?
Possibly in content, something of that nature. I also have a trade that I'm pretty good at, but I don't know. I just need some. I guess I'm getting some reassurance. That's what I need.
Well, how much money would you like to make?
I'm thinking the sky's the limit, Tom. I mean, there's no.
Well, not if you have a trade. Not if you have a trade. If you have a trade, there's pretty much an arc. There's pretty much a threshold, and you will not get over that. You will not get over that threshold.
You are correct. That is good advice.
The sky's the limit if you're an entrepreneur. The sky's the limit if you have a degree in something that is lucrative. The sky is not the limit if you are a tool die maker.
Yeah, that was my question, because I just want to see if the degree is the right thing to do, and I'm really interested in school.
What do you want to study?
Just accounting, mathematics.
Yeah.
But from there, I'd like to go into investment or something like that afterward.
Well, you certainly would want to at least minor in business, don't you think? Business administration.
Yes, and that's why I just started, really. So I kind of build myself up, but I'm really pursuing it hard. That's what I want to know.
I think when you see the unemployment rate at 6.1% as it is now,
yes,
never is it more true. Don't listen to what these stupid magazine articles are saying. Never is it more true than now that you need a good college education to make good money. You need it.
Yes.
And that means, yes, forget trade school. If you have an interest in going to a real school, a real university, and getting a real degree, you should by all means do it. And don't be a girl about it. I know you're not, but I mean, just for the other guys listening as well, don't be studying some subject that results in a non-lucrative career. No majoring in political science or majoring in astronomy or majoring in, English literature or languages. Forget all that stuff. You need to major in something that's going to produce a lucrative career.
Yes, go for the gold, right?
That's right.
That is excellent advice, Tom. All right, that was my question, Tom. Can you take me out travel with Kobe Bryant?
I certainly can.
This is about us. She's so special to me. You're a beat in my heart. You're the air I breathe. She's so special to me.
How did I forget Kobe? He was on the VMAs last night. 1-800-5800-TOM. We're talking money here, and let's continue with Steve in Portland, Oregon, home of the other white meat on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Professor. Hey, I had a question for you. I'm 40 years old, and I just got laid off recently. I've worked with handicapped folks for a long time, and I've got a 401k, and I'm hoping it's not too late. I've only got $3,000 in it, and I'm going to roll it over. Well, I'm thinking about rolling it over into my credit union and starting an IRA, but I know nothing about any of this stuff, and I'm going to try to go to work for the state of Oregon, hopefully doing the same thing I've done, which will pay a little better. But my big question is, what would you do if you were me? I have no children and no debt. And, well, I owe the IRS like $1,000, but I've been making payments. Is it hopeless at this point for me?
Well, it's not that it's hopeless, but one thing's for sure. If you have a 401k, you should roll it over as soon as possible.
Okay.
Here's why. Companies, corporate America, this is one of the biggest con jobs in America. Companies are not only taking fees out of your 401k, they don't tell you how much the fees are.
Wow.
And if you have not been looking at your statements and doing basic arithmetic to figure out how many less shares of a mutual fund you own and how much per share they were sold for, whatever, you don't even know that these bites are being taken out of that money. You want to get it out of that 401k as soon as you can get the paperwork filed. And you want to get it into an IRA, whether it's at your credit union or whether it's at an investment company like Vanguard or Fidelity or one of those. Charles Schwab, all good.
Okay.
Because you can get in there without paying those fees. Now, before you go to any one of those companies, if you don't go to your credit union, I'll be sure to ask if there's a minimum investment in order to avoid IRA fees. If there's a minimum investment and you're below the minimum, talk to your credit union. You don't want to pay any fees at all if you can get away with it.
Okay, I'm writing this down quickly.
Yeah. Well, I'll slow it down for you. You know, if you have $3,000, that's considered by the big companies to be a small amount. Right. And they usually will try to ding you with low balance fees or something like that. Okay. Be sure to ask that question.
Okay, Tom.
Very important. But the longer you stay in that 401k, the more your former employer is going to take out of that 401k. It's like what they do at Christmas time with those gift cards. You know, you've got a $100 gift card, but you don't realize if every month you don't use it, they take out $9 fees for inactivity or whatever. And by the time you bring the gift card in, you've got $11 left on it or something like that. Mm-hmm. They do that with 401ks. And everybody who's got a 401k should know that once you leave a job, you get that money rolled over. And do not withdraw it and keep it. Take that money out and put it in an IRA as soon as you can.
Can I ask you two questions too, Tom, real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, one of them is, obviously you've built a good life, a lot of it with mutual funds. I know nothing about them. What's a good book or a good place to start learning about them? Well,
Money Magazine is a good magazine to read if you're new to the game. Okay. And Money Magazine puts out a number of books. They have a book called The Right Way to Invest in Mutual Funds. Mm-hmm. It is a good starting book for anybody who hasn't done this before.
Okay, got it. And the last question I had is, like I said, I'm 40. I don't own nothing. Were you totally set up by 40? Is a guy too late at 40 if he doesn't have a wife, kids, and all that?
I became a millionaire not until 43.
Thank you, Tom. I have a few years left.
Yeah, but let me tell you how it works. Okay. I had $1 million by 43 and $2 million at 44. It starts once you start putting it away. Once you start reaching these milestones, they come faster and faster.
That's awesome.
But, yes. So there is always hope to do this, but you got to start now.
You got it. I'm not screwing around. I appreciate this. I appreciate you being on the radio because nobody ever told me none of this, Tom. You're the only person I got to learn this stuff from, so thanks.
Nah, Steve, that's what I'm here for. Not a problem at all.
Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. Leykis. 1-800-5800-866.
Please, men, listen. Tie yourselves up. Go put a condom on. Pay attention. Women are sick.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Tom Leykis Show. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. I'm talking about money here with Marlon. Hello.
How are you?
Great.
I'm calling a long time listener. Calling about variable life insurance.
What about it?
What's your opinion on it?
Well, first of all, who are you insuring?
Myself.
And who is the beneficiary?
It's going to be myself and my mom. That's it.
You're the beneficiary along with your mom?
Yeah. Well, if anything happens to me, then it's her.
Right. What are the odds that you're going to die before your mom?
Well, I'm planning to buy a sports car and take tracking, so who knows? Yeah.
Does your mom have life insurance with your name on it as the beneficiary?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't work.
Wouldn't that make more sense?
Well, she doesn't work.
Well, you could give her the money to buy an insurance policy for you.
Huh, okay.
Wouldn't that make more sense? Odds are, I'm not an actuarial table expert. Odds are you're going to die after your mom does.
Of course, right.
So life insurance is a very bad way to save money. If you don't think you are likely to be the beneficiary, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
There are other ways to save money and to get a good return on it. Insurance companies also, of course, have insurance agents who get paid big commissions for selling you these policies. Chances are you had the misfortune of running into an insurance salesman and you listen to what he had to say.
Exactly, right.
But you understand you could save money and invest it and probably have a much bigger cushion. And then you could write your mom in as the beneficiary if you chose to.
Right, right.
For example, I have accounts right now. My brother doesn't know it. He's probably finding out as I'm saying this. I have investment accounts, and he is named as the beneficiary.
Okay.
I'd much rather save and invest money and get the maximum return and then have him be the beneficiary if I die first.
Right. Okay, so like that you have a savings plan for yourself if you don't, or, you know.
Yes, I mean, it's a good idea to have a savings plan. Some people get life insurance because they don't have any willpower to save any money.
Right.
So they feel better having the insurance company take it out of their checking account or send them a bill every month.
Okay.
But why don't you just develop the discipline to put the money in the bank?
Oh, I do. I just didn't want it to get taxed as much, so.
And what makes you think putting money in a life insurance policy is going to result in less taxes?
That's what the sales guy said, the life insurance sales guy said.
So was he selling you, what, an annuity?
Variable life insurance. I don't know what exactly.
Right. So you don't even know what it is exactly he's selling you.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Yeah, I know. I haven't gone in to sit with them, but I was just calling before I went in.
Yeah.
I also have a different question. What do you think about the current WAMU stock price that just happened? It's at like $3 right now.
What was it yesterday before the market went up 300 points or whatever it was today?
I think it was 350. So
I would not. Now, I am not a stockbroker. I'm not a registered financial planner. I'm just a guy with an opinion.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know about the mortgage markets and that WAMU appears to be up to its neck in subprime mortgages,
right.
I wouldn't go near it.
Even at $3, huh?
The $3 has nothing to do with it. When are they coming out the other side? I mean, I'm asking a question. Is it possible they'll go out of business because they have so many subprime loans? We don't know.
Right. Okay.
There's a lot more solid areas you could be investing in other than financial institutions, which right now, I mean, the government just bailed out the two mortgage companies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, bailed them out. Trillions of dollars. Trillions.
Well, Tom, I put aside $4,000 a month into my savings account. Is there anywhere you would recommend me put for?
Well, first of all, make sure you've got no debts.
I don't.
All right, so you've got no Visa, no MasterCard debts, none of that.
That's all I owe is $15 and a $248 lease.
$15 on a $248 lease?
No. $15 on a credit card and a $248 lease.
$248 a month?
Yeah, on a lease. A leased car.
Right, and $15 a month is the minimum payment on your credit card?
Which I don't make. Yeah, I always put like $90, but...
No. Well, how much do you owe on that credit card?
$240.
Well, first of all, if you're putting away $4,000 a month in a savings account that pays 0.75% or whatever it is...
Exactly, right.
Yeah, why are you paying interest to the credit card company or bank, which is the equivalent of 1.5% per month?
Just to keep a credit history.
You could have a credit history without paying off the balance. You could pay off the balance in full every month and have a credit history.
Right. Okay, I'll do that.
It makes no sense to be paying interest on a credit card. None.
Okay. I'll do that now.
The bank would love you to believe that, but it's just not true.
Okay. So $4,000 a month, where do you think I should put that?
Well, step one is how much do you have in savings now, total?
14, 15.
That's all right. So you've only been putting that much away for a couple of months.
That's right, exactly.
I would keep doing that for a period of time till you get it up. Do you know what your monthly expenses are?
A total of like $1,400.
They are recommending that first you put aside 8. Now the number is 8 months because of the unemployment situation and the recession.
Right.
8 months of living expenses. 8 times 1,400 is how much? It's $11,200.
Which
so $11,200 is liquid cash to be put away and held there in case of emergency.
Right. That's what I have now, yeah.
All right, so you have $14,000 now?
Yep.
So in reality, you've only got about $2,800, something like that, in savings towards investing or anything. So what you need to do, I would have 2 separate accounts. I would have one account that is your liquid savings account for emergencies.
Okay.
Your rainy day fund.
Right.
And then branch off into a separate account that is for investing.
Okay.
Ultimately, you should get with one of these investment companies. And again, investment companies don't advertise on this show. I have no vested interest in them at all. And I don't recommend any one over another, but there are good companies like Fidelity, Vanguard, and Charles Schwab. And they all have money market accounts that pay over 3%, not 0.75% like you're getting now.
Right.
So I would say once you've got $10,000 or $15,000, enough that they don't charge you a fee,
right.
Go there and start an account and put the money in a money market account there.
Okay.
And that's a good start because then your money will be in a place where it can be easily invested when you start investing.
Okay.
All right? I wish I had more time, but I don't. Our email address is my name, Tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.